Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4! And today, spawning on the west side of the map, playing in red, we've got Louis MT playing as the Macedonian Dynasty. And up against him today, spawning in on the east side of the map, playing in blue, we've got Sassy playing as the Tughlaq Dynasty. Welcome everyone to Dry Arabia. As always, hope you guys are having a great morning, good afternoon, maybe even a good evening. And welcome to the new DLC for Age of Empires for the Dynasties of the East. Super excited to showcase these civilizations. You may have seen one of the casted games already, but today we're going to go for the Macedonian Dynasty and Tughlaq going up against each other. Now, kind of curious because there's lots of changes. I know these are variant civilizations, so it's not like it's totally brand new stuff, but there's a lot of brand new stuff, and maybe this is a brand new cheese strategy, because take a look at this. A villager going forward for Louis MT. Kind of curious to see. Okay, I know what he's doing. So, the kind of crazy thing for the Macedonian dynasty is they get a building called the stronghold. Essentially their military production building, but it can also double up as an outpost in some ways, because you can actually get arrow slits for it. It's kind of crazy, and it looks like it's going to be, it's got to be, right? There's no other reason, unless it's a misclick, that you send a villager so far forward. Speaking about new buildings, by the way, there is a Varangian war camp as well. It's a building that actually increases the population, so it kind of acts as a house. Pretty nice, because you're going to need housing anyway. More importantly, if you do lose units in battle, you can kind of get some reinforcements back. So, I'm going to be toggling onto the spearman equivalent. Okay, I'm going to have to try and practice pronouncing these, but I think it's called Adgemether. Adgemether, I think that's what it is. Any Vikings in chat, they'll be able to tell me. But the Adgemether, essentially the spearman unit. Then you also got the Varangian Guard. You've got the Bogmathor, I think that's how you say it. And they've got the Ridari as well. So pretty cool units. But that's it. There's the Varangian stronghold. And it's also making some units too. The Adgemether just to protect it. And the kind of curious thing is obviously it depends on the civilization matchup and what you can deny. But as it happens, he's got 2 golds pretty close to his base, actually. This is his second gold. I wonder whether Louis MT thought this was his primary gold, but it actually isn't. In any case, the good thing for the Tughlaq is that they've got the worker elephant, and that worker elephant can just migrate from place to place, so you don't have to invest in a mill. And the reason that's so important is because, you know, if you do have to kind of relocate, you can do so without suffering, you know, losing resources in the tied up building, right? So that's pretty good. Worker elephants can bring home sheep as well. You might notice a little detail. There's some brown and black sheep too. There's also a pink sheep, by the way. A pink one. Pretty rare to get though. I haven't seen one yet in one of the games that I've played or watched. Maybe we'll have to keep an eye out actually for the first pink sheep that we find. So it's going to be the Dome of the Faith landmark. Now, of course, a lot of the landmarks are similar. Some are new for these variant civilizations, but this one, whilst it's the same landmark, offers something slightly different. Well, I mean, more or less similar, but essentially produces imams and healer elephants at a discount of 65 gold. So the imams being cheaper is something we know from the Delhi, but the healer elephants, of course, that's a new unique unit for the Tughlaq dynasty. Now behind all this, it looks like the Macedonians is going to go with the Imperial Hippodrome. I say Macedonians, I really should say Macedonian dynasty. And this landmark actually provides champions that give you some bonuses. We'll talk about that later once it's built. But it's a nice change up because you do also get access to the Grand Winery as the well, I was going to say Byzantines, but I mean obviously the Macedonian dynasty, which does act as a mill and gives you 30% faster gathering of food. The relics generate silver instead of gold, which is important to talk about because of course the Macedonian dynasty give you silver and not olive oil. The question is, how much has this achieved? Not much, actually, so far. It's not denied anything massively for the Tughlaq dynasty, so I don't think Sass is particularly worried about it, but it's always a bit of an issue, and I guess this is probably going to be a focal point for attacking for the next couple of minutes, I would imagine. But we'll see. There's an archery range, so committing to that. Now, the kind of cool thing about this building as well, though, is it's very versatile, right? It's not like it's an archery range where you can have to make only ranged units. You can make stable units eventually. Now granted, the cavalry is in the castle age for that, but you can get the Bogmathor and you can get the Varangian Guard too. So both ranged and melee units. Of course, they can build stables too, and get horsemen out for it in the feudal age. So it's flexible, but it's not like ultimate building where you can make anything you want. Only the Varangian units, really. Here we go. Imperial Hippodrome. Now, it spawns after a few seconds. Well, a minute, really. I think it's a minute. It looks about 45 seconds, actually. But, yeah, go for Hippodrome trials, and you get a champion at the end of it. Options are the Horseman, got the Radari, or the Scout. Alright, Spearmen being added as well. And there's a first healer elephant, which can do damage in and of itself. It can actually attack with its tusks. Oh, one thing to bear in mind. Yeah, these Hippodrome hero units, in a way, they actually have different bonuses. So the Scout can actually increase the torch damage of nearby units by a sizable amount, 35%, not too shabby. You've got the Horseman version that actually, I believe, I think, what does it say here? Oh, enhances the damage of nearby cavalry, and then you've got the Radari, which increases the movement speed of nearby infantry. Now, bear in mind, like, this strategy is a bit wild, especially against the Tughlaq, because the Tughlaq have got the worker elephants that can mobilize, but also they've got the healer elephants, right? So it's going to be hard to actually take up a fight, so I guess the idea behind this is going to be a fast castle. I imagine this is to just buy time, right? Now, he has upgraded it with arrow slits, so that will help a little bit. Well, I should say stronghold defensive arrow slits, there we go. It's about buying time. Don't know how much time it's going to buy, though, because the healer elephant, right, is just going to tusk this down. He's buying some time. He's cutting off the gold, but in the feudal age, you don't often need all that much gold. Although the Tughlaq dynasty, to afford upgrades, they're pretty expensive. So one thing to bear in mind, with this civilization, the technologies are very quick to research. You can see 5 seconds. But actually, it costs a lot of resources, right? 600 gold for the tithe barns, but it makes it very quick to get. Yeah, definite play to the castle age. Plenty of sheep. Well, actually, to be fair, sheep are about to run out. So he's on the deer around the back. Pretty safe deer, as it happens. And he's quite heavy on gold, yeah. Decent number of villagers, 8 villagers. Also getting a Varangian arsenal, which is essentially the blacksmith for the Macedonian dynasty. Which is pretty cool about the Macedonian dynasty, by the way. You can actually get lots of upgrades. I think 6 of them. So the kind of usual ones, you know, you've got the... bear in mind as well, you've got the ranged attack, you've got the melee infantry attack. So it's kind of different for other civilizations. Of course, in the blacksmith, you get melee upgrades and ranged upgrades. Here, you also get cavalry upgrades. So kind of wild. They split melee into melee infantry and then cavalry as well. But this would affect ranged cavalry too, I'd imagine, anyway. Which is kind of wild then, because it depends on the tag the units get, because you could get ranged cavalry. Well, I don't think the Macedonian dynasty actually have any, so, you know. And there it is. Cistern of the First Hill. Castle Age coming up for the Macedonian dynasty. That's going to give them charge abilities, which actually boost the work rate of military and research buildings. But you can place the charges on resource buildings too, to give you further resources over 60 seconds. You can hold up to 9 charges, so you want to use that when you can. Alright, but Sass, thinking about getting an outpost, which, actually, to be fair, I mean, it's probably good to get. He needs to protect the gold, right? So he's playing this a bit safe. But it's kind of wild how the Macedonian dynasty are getting to the castle age and have just bought so much time to get there. As it happens, though, obviously, there's a lot of army on the field here for Sass, right? So if he does just go forward, which he is now, I think he senses it, right? He should be able to get some damage in. Monastery coming up, though, to pick up some of those relics. Which, by the way, well, actually, because it's not the Grand Winery, it will be getting gold for him, rather than silver. As you can see, silver is one of these resources that you kind of use later down in the pipeline, unless you're paying, you know, the upgrades. So it actually has the olive oil symbol there. I'm pretty sure that's not meant to be like that. I imagine that's a bit of a bug. It should be silver you're spending on this. So silver is pretty important in the early game, to be fair as well, for these upgrades in particular. But with 2 elephants now, healer elephants, a lot of archers. The concern I have, though, is that the Macedonian dynasty are pretty strong when it comes to heavily armored units. And to be fair, when you get to the Castle Age, you typically get those types of units anyway. In this particular scenario, he's got the Hippodrome, so he's effectively got a stable here anyway, and he's going to go for the Ridari. Heavily armoured, essentially the Knight counterpart. And I imagine he's getting some upgrades as well for the Varangian. Now, he's not got anything queued up, but I imagine he will. Looks like the Varangian war camp will go down, though. Kind of cool here for Louis, just looking to ride around with the cavalry, pick off reinforcements, right? Because it's mostly infantry coming out here for Sass. So if he can pick off a couple of straight archers here and there, it's going to help him out, because he needs to buy time. Bit of a greedy tech up. Now, the way this game's going to play out is essentially that if Sassy can do some damage, which he kind of needs to be fair, that'll be ideal, but there comes a point where Sass does need to go to the Castle Age himself, unless he can kill, you know, Louis MT off, which is usually unlikely. We'll see, oh, he's picking off a couple of villages there, nice work. But yeah, I mean, if Sass doesn't kill Louis off very soon, he will have to go to the Castle Age himself, which then gives Louis a bit of breathing space, and a bit of time to do damage of his own. A couple of Ridari adding into the mix as well. Of course, helpful having the Hippodrome Horsemen, giving the increased damage of cavalry by +2. But here come the Rams, but they're just having to back off of deer. I like this play, though, by Sass, to cut off food, right? Main resources you need at this situation in Castle Age is food and gold. And he's doing a good job of trying to deny both. Relic Bring brought in. Yeah, it's good to get siege like this, although I imagine the elephants could have done a decent job, but of course Ram is just a lot better at doing it. 200 Ram siege damage, whereas the healer elephant's only got +15 versus building, so not a great deal, but you know, it's decent, 40. Here come the Hippodrome Horsemen, and the Ridari, actually, the interesting thing about the Ridari, you can see they've actually got a ranged attack to them, kind of like the sergeants for the Knights Templar. They're a really cool unit, actually, because they've got the axes, they throw axes from range, and then they go into melee combat afterwards if they go like, sort of right up close. So get a hit and then go from there. Really nice unit for the Macedonian Dynasty, and he's getting some good output here. This becomes a bit tricky for Sassy, right? He's not done the damage he wanted to, and it feels like here's now the pivot point where he does need to go to the Castle Age, because whilst the numbers don't look good here for Louis, these are premium units, right? So he should be able to hold his own. He's got veteran archers, or veteran Bogmather, I should say. Well, in fact, they're not even veteran, they're just regular Bogmather, but I imagine those could be upgraded. He's taken the fight, surprisingly enough, because there's a decent number of spearmen, as well as the healer elephant, but he's got better units overall, right? So feels confident taking the fight. He won't want to lose the Bogmather, though, because that's really what's keeping the spearmen at bay. Around the right, so I won't take a look at the different part of the map right now because there's a lot going on here. The healer elephant's definitely helping. The Ridari getting involved. I mean, the Ridari are holding their own against the spearmen so well. Even with the 2 healer elephants, kind of wild actually. These units are doing great. Now you do need to switch for the throwing axes, but it does a decent amount of damage, right, to start things off the fight. And he's losing a lot here, Sassy. He's got a lot of army in reserve, but this army he can't afford to throw away because he does need to tech up to the next stage, and every fight that's happening here is just working really well here for Louis. Right, healer elephant's going to back away. Spearmen, yeah, they're going to back away as well. So, I mean, one thing to talk about as well is the runestones. Pretty cool mechanic. Let's just make sure we don't miss this fight, though. Yeah, so you can actually deploy these as Varangian units, increasing the weapons and movement speed. But essentially, I think you have to have 5 victories of the Varangian units, and you can deploy them. It's a pretty cool mechanic, just to maybe buy some time to run away, because it's a localized effect, I believe. Yeah, pretty cool to have, actually. Could be certainly helpful. See the benefits there for it. It is on a timer, though, so, you know, only lasts for a little bit. 15% extra movement speed, extra bit of melee damage, you name it. Trying to get the Varangian arsenal back up again. Okay, going to be getting some upgrades from it this time, getting the scale bard, increasing the armor. Yeah, looks like he's going to be going right for the Ridari, right? It probably makes a lot of sense, a premium unit, a unit that's a lot of mobility on it. But also the fact that, you know, boosted by the Hippodrome heroes. I think that's got a cool ring to it, actually, the Hippodrome heroes. Right, Bogwitha numbers building up as well, but Sass hasn't given up on it. He's going to not go for the castle age just yet. He's just going to keep ploughing on. Continue to push on in. On the deer. This could be painful, actually. Might lose a couple of units. Engaging on the front lines as well. Pulling back Louis before... Yeah, oh, this is not great. He's going to lose a couple of villages here for sure. Couple lost on the deer camp. Probably will lose the Varangian. I mean, he's going to get... He should get the skill barding in time. We'll take a look at that in just a second. Yeah, he's losing a couple of archers too. Spearmen popping out. But yeah, these little wins here is really good here for Louis. Gets a scale barding, but won't get the next upgrade. But Sassy is itching towards the castle age. That's why the kind of steam has run out a little bit for him. He's going to be getting the veterancy for this Bogmatha. The army is just going to get better and better here. For the Macedonian dynasty. Varangian arsenal coming down here too. And also the stronghold. Oh, double stronghold. A good thing about the stronghold as well, like you can use it to protect these pocket economies, like these areas where people are picking up deer camps from. Because it's got the arrow slits upgrade they can get for them. And also, of course, it doubles up as the production building. But Sassy gonna switch around to the right side now, trying to deny the gold. Not the most mobile army, so it's kind of like Louis just kind of going left and right between the resources and eventually picking stuff up. But he's picking off units off here, left, right, and center. Might even get a healer elephant out of it. Maybe not, actually. Should be able to regroup with the rest of the army. Sassy, though, still looking pretty strong. Plenty of food. Really struggling on gold as it happens. He needs that gold, actually. What's going on with the gold? Okay, there they are. Gonna get a market just to rebalance the economy. Right thing to do. But, oh, look at the army coming out here for Louis and the Macedonian dynasty. That's a lot of veteran Bogmatha. And to be fair, once he gets rid of the spearman mass, there's not a lot remaining here for Sassy. He's going to go for the compound of the defender to get to the castle age. I mean, the thing is that the movement speed is really helping out these veteran Bogmatha, right? It's coming from the champion. It's coming from the Ridari champion. It's so powerful. This extra movement speed is coming in clutch here for Louis. He's sniping his spearmen. Make no mistake about it. That is huge. A couple of spearmen around the back, but, you know, they'll take care of that, the villagers, eventually. But the movement speed, that's what it's all coming down to. He's caught up with a lot of the spearmen. Of course, Sassy doesn't want to fight because he wants the veterancy, he wants the castle age upgrades, and he's being pegged back for sure. Runestorm is deployed as well, so that's going to help on the fight. Raider elephants coming forward, but be tanking. Now, decent number of healer elephants, 3 of them will help. But the big thing is that Louis is just taking out so many of these spearmen, and then that just leaves the Ridari to deal with these archers. And even if they are veteran archers, it's not going to be a big deal because he's already got scale barding for them. He's got 6 ranged armor. Bear in mind the increased damage coming out from the champions. And he's just going to straight up take the fight. There's good healing for the Raider elephants, but they haven't got a big enough healing effect here, these healer elephants, to keep them alive for long enough. He's got enough to take some of these down, but I mean, overall, yeah, he's losing the healer elephants now. That's the big deal, right? Losing the healer elephants, there's not much behind all of this. Archer's going to have to back away. Yes, their veterancy upgraded, but probably not going to be enough. Snagging a couple of the relics as well. Well, I say couple. He's got 3 already in the bag here, Louis. 2 more on the way. He's got the full load of 5. Yeah, Sassy in all sorts of trouble because sure, he's in the castle age. Sure, he's got veteran units, but they're not the right units. He would have loved to have had those spears right now. But all he has is these veteran archers, and he's probably going to pay the price for this. The attack coming in from the Ridari, doing so much for this. Bear in mind, he's even getting more cavalry upgrades, blade inlaying, increasing the damage of the cavalry by an extra 1. And yeah, this is not looking good here for Sassy. He's been caught by the cavalry. And the movement speed advantage of the champion, it's a big deal here for the Macedonian dynasty. He led the way with the weird stronghold rush, I guess, kind of hybrid outpost military building rush. Built some time, got to the castle age. and then teched into boosting up this really powerful unit, the Ridari for the Macedonian Dynasty. And Sassy, going to find it hard to hold on here. He's going to lose the rest of this army for sure. He's got a war elephant, but I don't think that's going to be enough to win the battle, let alone the war. Villagers going to have to scramble for their lives, and the Ridari probably could stay here forever because they've got so much ranged armor. They can hide underneath the town centre even. He doesn't want to engage with the war elephant, but it doesn't matter anyway because Sassy, he's lost too much. And there it is, GG gets called. Louis MT wins the game with an interesting opening, I gotta say. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. I imagine against a different civilization could work out better. Curious. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up. And if you would like to see, by the way, another cracking game I have, click on the end card on your screen right now. Take care, and see you next time.